If your shower's gone weak or isn't regulating temperature properly or is getting stiff to turn, it's probably not broken, it may just be bunged up with limescale. And in hard water areas it can build up fast, in areas that you can see like tap aerators, shower heads and showers, and in areas that you can't, like inside the shower valves. This is not only unsightly, but left unchecked, that build-up causes cartridges to seize, flow to drop off, and can even lead to parts snapping when forced. So today I'm going to walk you through how to strip and descale your bar mixer valve inside and out, clean out your tap aerators and get everything running smoothly and looking shiny again. You'll need a specialist descaler, some WD-40 potentially, and some silicone grease. I think they sell this descaler in Aldi, which is great. You'll also need some kind of bowls to soak the items in, an Allen key set, a couple of screwdrivers and an adjustable spanner, and maybe a couple of other small items depending on your particular shower valve. You're also going to need some 3/4 inch blanking caps if you wish to turn the water back on whilst you're soaking items, and you'll need an old toothbrush or pipe cleaner and some microfiber cloths. Links to all the items are below the video. To clean out the shower cartridge, you'll need to turn the water off. This is normally done under the kitchen sink, and if you have a combi boiler or unvented system like this will isolate the shower. If you have a gravity system or a pumped gravity system, you will have to isolate the water at the cylinder and tank. Once the water to the shower's off, open the kitchen tap, leave it open and turn on the taps and showers in the bathrooms upstairs, rotating the temperature knobs from hot to cold. Nothing should come out of the outlets and you should hear a gurgling noise as water drains through the pipework and out of the kitchen tap. First, we'll get our tools out and we're going to put the plug in the bath so if you drop anything, it doesn't end up down the drain. Then we're going to take the shower hose off by hand and remove the shower valve by using our adjustable spanner. Be careful not to drop the valve in the bath as it comes loose and be sure to retain the rubber or fibre washers as you can see here. At this stage you can remove any shrouds or filters to clean these too. Then we'll fit the blanking cap so we can turn the water back on whilst we clean. Ensure the rubber is present in the bottom of the caps or they won't seal, but do not over tighten these. You can then turn the water back on by turning the stop tap fully anti-clockwise, then back half a turn and close any taps previously opened. Next, we'll remove the flow control by prising off the cover cap to reveal the retaining screw that needs removing so that we can remove the on-off handle. We can spray some WD-40 or silicone spray on the thread to ease removal, and we'll remove the thermostatic cartridge on the other end of the valve next. Once the handle is removed, you will need to remove the temperature stop, but just note its orientation before prising it off. On this model, the cartridge is held in place by a retaining grub screw on the underside of the valve body, which needs removing with an Allen key. To pull the cartridge out, be careful on the brass splines. If you grip these and flatten them off, the handle will not locate back onto the cartridge properly. Cartridges normally pull straight out, but they may need a bit of persuasion, particularly if limescale is holding things in place. This is the cartridge which we will now clean. The spindle is hard to turn, telling us that there is likely a lot of scale within the unit itself. This alternative valve has cover caps that prise off to reveal the retaining screws, which have a special shake-proof washer on them, preventing them from working loose over time. And they also have a spacer that separates the handle from the valve body slightly. You can see the temperature stop is similar and works by acting as physical resistance to the pin inside the handle, preventing it from being turned too hot without depressing the safety button. A quick inspection reveals that there is no Allen key to hold the cartridge in place here, so we look elsewhere. In this case there is a brass retaining ring which is a complete faff to remove in all honesty, but I managed to undo it with a pair of needle grip pliers and a flat-headed screwdriver. The cartridge is then removed. Note the feature that allows the cartridge to align within the valve. This rubber O-ring on the outside of the cartridge has seen better days and may benefit from being replaced. The valve itself comes apart slightly differently. This moving part helps regulate the temperature, so it should spring up and down without resistance. You can see how the scale build-up inside could prevent this part from moving smoothly. If you want or need to, you can remove the O-rings carefully before soaking, but you must make a note of where they come from and put them back in the right place, and as long as you don't leave the part soaking for over an hour, this may be overkill in most cases. Next we're going to round up anything else we can drop into the descaling solution whilst we've got it on the go, from shower heads to basin wastes to bath overflows and tap aerators. Most items can be removed by hand, though aerators will need an adjustable spanner, and you don't need to turn the water off to remove any of these items. Just make sure you retain all rubber washers and filters. Once all the items are collected, we're going to put them together into our bowls, keeping everything separated. Now let's soak everything to break down the scale by diluting our descaler as instructed with hot but not boiling water. The best option is to use a citric acid based descaler like this one, which is strong enough to work without permanently damaging sensitive parts such as rubber O-rings which can otherwise be left in situ. You can work the spindle round a few times to help unsettle grit. You could use white vinegar for this job, but it is not quite as effective as it does not contain additional surfactants and alcohols to help break down the grime and carry dissolved minerals away, and it also smells a bit. I'm going to mix some bicarbonate of soda to clean out my kettle, plug holes and taps, whilst the other items are soaking because I've run out of Descaler. You can wrap fixed fittings like taps and bath fillers in kitchen roll soaked with your cleaning product of choice. Here I'm using white vinegar. This effectively holds the Descaler against the item whilst it works its magic, and after a short time you can then rinse off the cleaner and polish with a dry microfiber cloth. For more heavily soiled fittings you can scrub them with bicarbonate of soda, which acts as an adjutant, helping to loosen scale, dirt and grime. You're going to want to leave the shower items to soak for about an hour if using my recommended Descaler, or a few hours if using vinegar, so have a break before getting back to it. When it's time, start by scrubbing each item with an old toothbrush. You can see how the solution has completely dissolved all of the scale. You may want to wear some washing up gloves for this bit, as the acidic Descaler can sting if it gets onto your skin or into cuts. Tougher scale may require a bit more force to budge like the aerator, and just for reference these items are cheap to buy if you just want to replace them. If you have a pipe cleaner you can even clean inside the valve body itself, and after cleaning be sure to rinse all your parts to ensure all of the Descaler has been removed. To ensure the shower cartridge slides in nicely, we're going to re-grease the O-rings with silicone grease, not WD-40 or petroleum jelly as this can damage them, and then we're going to reinsert it back into the valve body and secure it in place with the grub screw. We'll then add the temperature stop with the stop pointing upwards as before and slide the handle on. You can see that this turns much more freely now, and the temperature stop is working perfectly with the button freely popping up when needed. I'll temporarily put the handle on now, but this will need to be removed for commissioning. To ensure the flow control slides in nicely again, we'll use a little silicone grease on the rubber parts and reassemble it in the same manner it was disassembled. The handle should slide on and be adjusted so that when the flow control is turned fully off, it points in the right direction versus the valve body, as you can see here. Then the cover cap can be replaced. Before refitting the valve, it makes sense to check the washers. I probably should have removed these before soaking the valve, but they look like they need replacing anyway, so I'll use some 3/4 inch washers I had laying around, but I'd recommend rubber washers normally. In order to avoid scratching the chrome like this when refitting the shower valve, you want to avoid any serrated jaws and use an adjustable spanner like this. These Knipex ones even come with rubber jaws and are excellent. So once we've turned the water off and drained down again, we'll simply wind the valve back onto the wall, ensuring that the washers are still in place, and nip them up as needed. Next up, we'll set the maximum default temperature by commissioning the valve. We'll use the handle to turn the cartridge spindle to approximately 38 degrees at the point where the handle pin pushes up against the temperature stop. Then we reattach the handle permanently. This will stop the shower from accidentally scalding anyone, as the button needs to be depressed to turn the cartridge spindle past this temperature. The rest of the fittings can now be replaced and the water turned back on. Please note they may splutter a bit when first opened. This is normal, and if you need to replace the shower hose, you can easily pick one up online. So that's it. Shiny, clean, well-maintained components, better water flow, and no stiffness or sticking that could potentially lead to product failure. Doing this every year in hard water areas can double the lifespan of your brassware, keep water pressure strong, and save you costly replacements later down the line. I've linked many of the products I've used below if you want to try this for yourself. And if you didn't know, my name's Chris, I live on Bramley Park Avenue. I own and operate UK Bathroom Guru, and I've got a few teams that install high quality bathrooms, wet rooms, en-suites and downstairs loos from start to finish. So if you need help, you know where I am. All the best.